All right. Let's get physical. Crazy hair day here. Let's try to make sure the hair is on fleek for the episode if we can. Always remember, everybody, glorious day ahead, no matter where you are, no matter where this video finds you. I hope you have the best day of your fucking life because you deserve to have it, no matter who you are, no matter what you think, no matter how shitty you feel. Okay, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the No Name Podcast. My name is Anthony. I'll be your outstanding host because it is important to be an outstanding host, not just a host. An outstanding host. One that entertains. One that dines you. One that winds you. Venus is retrograde, which means no love for us. No shocker there, right? Dating apps have been an indictment on our lives now for many years. There's no new news there. It's all the same typical shit. Swipe left, swipe right. Don't matter. The weather is nice. It's been weird. Yesterday it was 69. Today it's 29. It's frigid out. I don't like it. New Jersey's a funny place to be. And that's why a lot of people actually come to New Jersey, because it has so much to offer. One day it's summer, the next day it's fucking freezing in Antarctica. Bill Nye, the science guy, if you remember him, wasn't lying. Mid-COVID, he came out with a video that actually said the Earth is on fucking fire.
What I'm saying is the planet's on fucking fire.
I can't think of a better representation of the weather yesterday than it is today. Yesterday, it felt like the world was on fire. Today, it feels like that one time you slept at your friend's house on their couch and they never gave you a blanket. So you had to use the fridge to stay warm for the night. We've all been there. That's quite okay. We've got a jam-packed week for you. I'm excited about this episode, as I am all episodes, because it's fucking exciting, man. We just get to do our thing and chop it up and pursue the endeavors of our life that give us some sense of living. This isn't just a job. For some people it is, for some people it isn't. And you have to look at your own scenario and your own situation, because everybody's got a different situation that they're dealing with in life. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. We all got something weird that's going on, and it's important that you have a great week. And that's what I love most about these episodes, because it reminds you, hopefully, to A, have fun and be a dick if you gotta be, and B, don't listen to negative people telling you how to live your life. It's your life. It's important that you live it how you feel is necessary. That's what I try to really emulate for people. Not the I just don't give a shit vibe, because I don't give a shit. But at the same time, I do. But at the same time, I don't. I just want to have a fun time and enjoy myself, which is a very hard concept for people, especially as we get older. But it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week. If you didn't hear, Trump, J.D. Vance, and Zelensky had quite the meeting this week in the Oval Office on Friday. What was that about? I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing? This feels very juvenile. It feels very high school. This is like the epitome of red tape. It really is. And we're trying to cut through it. It seems as though the president and the VP, they couldn't seem to get on the same page. Both chopping at the block to show honor for their country. Which I love. I love that. It's about time we have some honor in the things that we're doing and have some pride. Have some goddamn belief that we're doing the right thing. I love that. I think it's great. I think it's important that it happens. Really. Call me crazy. I can see both sides. I could see Trump kind of, hey, pump the brakes, right? Right? Before I beat the brakes off you. Versus Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, who's like, hey, yo, look, man, I know I came here to talk about a minerals deal, but it's a shit deal. And I'm not ready for peace. Ukrainian people are not ready for peace. That's what I gather. And Americans, I love America. America's my favorite. Home of the brave. We all bleed red at the end of the day, and we have to be mindful of that. But that's why it's so important that we hear each other out. And I see what these two presidents were doing, and I don't think it was in vain. Although I think a lot of the news channels will say it was, and Maybe there's a lot more nuance to it than we can see, but hey, if you were president too, you would be putting your foot down for your country. And if you were a good politician, you would only do it on national TV. I think there's more to it than that. I think there's a whole lot more to it. You have to be able to stick up for the things you believe in, and sometimes that means coloring outside the lines. I think sometimes we get so fearful of the things around us, and we're so suffocated by our surroundings and the people in our surroundings that we forget our own uniqueness. Our own uniqueness. The thing that makes you, you. Are you funny? Are you mad? Are you cynical? Are you witty? Are you pretty? Are you kind? Any of those things go a long way. Sometimes, especially in dating these days, all you see is what you see. But there's so much more to it. Beauty is skin deep. There's so much more to us as humans, and I think it's important that we sometimes learn the best is from each other. It's not from just thinking we know everything. It's a minefield out there. It really is. One reporter asked Zelensky mid-interview in that Oval Office meeting, "Why don't you wear a suit? You hold the highest rank in your government as president. Why don't you wear a suit?" And I admit, the guy did look a little bit like a G.I. Joe doll. I don't know what's going on there. It's strange. He looks like a tiny person. It's super weird. I agree. Why didn't he wear that attire that would be representative of the Oval Office? Do I think it was in malice? No, I don't think people do a lot of things maliciously, admittedly. Unless you're a couple people I know. They go out of their way to fuck with people. But I know a lot of people, all right? And I know a lot of people do things just because, well, we're ignorant. We just don't know what we don't know. And we don't communicate. This doesn't happen. Talking to each other. We used to. I believe we used to a long time ago. But Americans were pretty bent out of shape about Zelensky's attire. He literally looked like he was getting ready for his first day of middle school. Very strange. The optics of showing up to a meeting of this magnitude to negotiate peace for your country and to look like a middle schooler. I mean, what were you thinking? Like I said before, I can see both sides, but I do think the optics of it weren't exactly the best. You can't disagree with that. And one reporter just couldn't hold his tongue. They went back and forth in the Oval Office. I mean, the stuff we're seeing in 2025 is unhinged. It's absolutely unhinged. What are we doing? It doesn't matter what we do anymore. Diplomacy is like almost out the window. We're like savages. Heathens. Indigent people wandering through the streets just with no direction. I feel like we're so aimless anymore. And I hope that you remember your uniqueness because it'll give you purpose. And I talked about that a lot on my last episode, is how I've kind of been navigating life's many trials and tribulations of finding myself. And I think at some point in your life, if you're not there right now, you're going to be in a similar scenario where you're kind of scratching your head like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Where everything that you feel like you've been doing is right suddenly feels wrong. And everything that feels wrong almost feels like maybe it should have been right. Two wrongs don't make a right here, which is right or left. I don't know. I'm dyslexic. And you have to remember the power of your uniqueness. That was something I had to learn the hard way because I never had the best direction growing up, right? I didn't have the best father figures, and things were very inconsistent for someone like me. And as a young kid, you need that. You need a good mom. You need a good dad. And I had both of those. They were just kind of... they were just there. And so you have an episode like this where really, truth be told, it's a remarkable thing when you start to think about what it is you're the best at. And you should lean into that. If that's speaking up for what you believe in, then hell, lean into it. If it's, looking up for the little guy, then hell, lean into it. If it's loving things that require love and attention that don't have any of it, then do the thing. Pull the trigger. Don't wait for an invitation to be yourself. It is a really fucked up world out there. And look at Zelensky. Well, maybe he did drop the ball going into the Oval Office looking like a schmuck, or, as Reddit might say, an Oompa Loompa. Sorry. It's true. That's who he is. And I didn't necessarily agree with the Oompa Loompa reference, but after further evaluation, I've changed my stance. I don't take it back. Yeah. In other news, Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio yelled the famous tagline, "I'm not fucking leaving," which I love and I use when I probably shouldn't use it, sometimes in meetings, sometimes randomly. But it's just so catchy, right? Here's JD Vance and Trump escorting our friend Zelensky to the door for his presidential departure. You could say he is fucking leaving. Right? He is fucking leaving. Sometimes you have to know when to leave. Nicolas Cage says you should leave on a high note. You should disappear on a high note. I think there's some truth in that. You should maybe disappear on a high note, but when you have good momentum in life, how can you run away from that? I think a lot of people get performance anxiety, myself included. Sometimes when you're in the game, right? Let's compare it to football. I'm not a big football guy, but hey, back in the day when Tim Tebow were playing, Peyton Manning, Eli, those were my guys. Fourth down, right? You're ready to get a touchdown. That is not the place to get performance anxiety. That is when you have to keep your eyes on the absolute fucking prize. That is not the time to question, are you capable of doing this? That is not the time to question, are you going to do this? How can you do this? We come up with the most negative turn of events in our head, which literally, it's like a coming to God. It's like you're bringing it into fruition, this awful thing, this parasite that's not part of you. When you have all the ability in the world, all of the upside, all of the capability to do really anything. I never thought I could be a comic, and then one day I just started cracking fucking jokes. Never thought I could be a writer, but just one day started writing. Never thought I could make it in a big career position, and one day had a big career. And a lot to be proud of, and a lot to be thankful for. Not without a lot of scars and a lot of trials and tribulations that, man, I wish I could have gone without, but would have never gotten me to the person I am today. And that's what you have to keep in mind when you're at that fourth down and you're ready to get your touchdown. You have to keep that in mind. It's like, do you go in for the kiss with a new partner? The 30-70 rule? You go 30, I go 70, right? You have to go for it. You have to fucking risk it all. Make the leap. Do the thing. Do the thing, no matter what people will say about you, because people will always have something to say about you. Give them something good to talk about. Go for it, more than anything. How are you doing? How you feeling? How's your week going? You ready? You ready for this big week? Speaking of people that are not ready for this big week, I'm talking about the same people that are caught with their dick in their hands. The hand in the cookie jar, maybe. Their families hate them, and they've likely robbed grandma's 401k. Yours truly is back on the scene. It's a big week. And no, I am not talking about Gene Hackman's dog who was found wandering aimlessly through Mexico. No, we're not just quite there yet. What happened to Gene Hackman? Found murdered with his wife and his dog, just aimlessly in Mexico. Very strange. Very strange. I bet if they happen to ask Wes Anderson what happened to him, he'd probably give you something to the tune of, what am I talking about? Wes Anderson doesn't give a shit about what the hell happened to Gene Hackman. He might have something to do with what happened to Gene Hackman, to be frank. He might have, Onward and upward. I'm talking about Billy fucking McFarland. Billy fucking McFarland. Do you remember this clown? Wow. Billy McFarland, if you remember that person, I'm sorry. And if you don't, let me give you some context. Billy McFarland was the CEO of Fyre the app. And he tried to come out with, back in 2017, he tried to come out with the Fyre Festival. Fyre Festival was set to take place in 2017 in the Bahamas. It was supposed to be the most luxurious and upper echelon type festival of its time, appealing to millennials. Me. It was supposed to appeal to fucking me. Me. How was I supposed to know? The whole thing was a joke. It was a sham. It really was. But this guy is the example of don't worry about what people think about you. Just go for it. This guy is the biggest clown. The biggest clown. I've not seen a clown bigger than this guy. Big joke. He's a big joke. But he never stopped going for it. And he's back for round 2. Yeah. Ugh. It's not typical, this festival. It was supposed to be like a Coachella, like a luxurious Coachella, which is really cool when you think about the concept. Like, in theory, it makes sense, but in practice, it fell on its fucking face and see you, bye. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. It was not good. It was not good. People got robbed. People got punked. It was a bad, bad scene. Yeah, Coachella is nice, right? Like, it's where people are dirty. Maybe people are eating some mushrooms, finding themselves in the music. It's real fucking great. It's real. It's a good, it's cool, right? It's like Burning Man, everybody comes together and talks about their feelings. I love you. You love me. I love you. Let's get together and, bing, bing, bing. I support it, okay? Fyre Festival, though, it was just dirty. Just dirty. There was no fun. It was very scary. It was very, 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 very scary. It's something you have to be careful of, And nobody was there. Not even the people that were promoting the event were at Fyre Festival in 2017. You may remember scenes from it. I think there were pigs wandering around on the beach. Very bohemian, right? Some random tents. There was no food. There was scarce amounts of water. I mean, it was something like out of the show Lost, which don't even get me started on because that is a whole goddamn episode in and of itself. What the fuck were those people doing, man? Traveling in time, quantum mechanics. You go this way, I go that way. You remember me, I remember you. What do you mean? What are you doing here? It's like a scene out of fucking Willy Wonka, man. I feel like I'm Gene Wilder and I'm just trying to orchestrate all my little Oompa Loompas. Craziness. I have good news, and then I have great news. If you didn't get robbed last time, good for you. Seriously, good for you. That's the good news. Natural selection is a drawn out, complex process involving multiple interconnected type causes. That is natural selection by definition. If you're dumb enough to buy into this Fyre Festival, turn of the century festival, something to keep the kids going, don't get mad when you get screwed. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't go on TikTok, right? Because daddy bought you tickets and now you're there in Mexico on a beach and there's no food or water and you have to make a TikTok like, oh my God, I bought these tickets for Fyre Festival and nobody's here. Like, what are we gonna do? I'm just a girl. I have no way home. The great news here is for people like me, that believe only the smartest survive and only the dumbest and evil will perish by their own stupidity, we'll all be okay at the end of the day. But for Billy McFarland, I can't say the same. It is going to be a sketchy 2025. I mean, we are not off to a good start. We are not off to a good start. We're having full-on brawls in the Oval Office. Gene Hackman is dead. Right? Billy McFarland's fucking back. I mean, I can't think of a worse or bad omen than that. Like, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. McFarland faced 6 years in federal prison because he literally ran this fake festival, defrauded his own investors out of a ton of money. Like, it's sketchy. Round 2, though, I mean, ignorance is bliss. Good for him. Get after it. More power to you. In a world that cannot handle uniqueness, I mean, this is somebody who's really locked in. Maybe not in a good way, but he's going for it. You can't be mad at the guy. You can be mad at the idiots who are going to buy tickets, though, starting between $1,400 and going as high as $1 million fucking dollars. $1 million. 1 million. I could think of 1 million reasons why maybe somebody shouldn't do that. It's not smart. You have to buy groceries, right? Have you got groceries? Have you paid your rent? Did you pay back your parents for that one time you borrowed all that money? Remember that one time you crashed the car? Did you ever pay them back for that damage? How about that silly best friend you screwed over for a couple hundred back in the day? Remember that time you said you'd buy everyone dinner and your car got declined? Might be time to pay your dues, right? Balance the balance sheet. Get back on the same page. If you are looking at this festival, like I know you probably are, because most crazy kids will be, you are out of your goddamn mind. Crazy shit. To put it in perspective, McFarland was actually sued. Him and Ja Rule. I mean, how the fuck did Ja Rule get sucked into this? Poor bastard. Ignorance is bliss, right? We sell dreams in this country. Dreams are a commodity. Solutions are a commodity. They are traded like on the open exchange. I could sell you a dream right now. Paint you a picture. Bob Ross style. Perfect it. Make it beautiful. Enticing. Give it tons of allure. You're going to arrive at this festival in Mexico. People are going to greet you. Security on standby. All of your favorite treats. Chick-fil-A, Starbucks. If you're in Canada, Tim Hortons. You're going to eat. You're going to get fat. And we're going to party. Diplo, Aoki. Fuck, even Avicii's going to be there. He died, but he's still going to be there. Only the best of the best. We're going to have some of the finest herb on the planet. Going to be a hell of a time. You could sell a dream. It's possible. You just got to own it. With a tremendous amount of conviction, even if you are fucking off your mark. These guys screwed people and were sued for $100 million. I mean, that's crazy, man. That is absolutely crazy. What do you think? Have you heard of Fyre Festival? Is this something that you're interested in? By the way, Illy Coffee, straight from Italy. Told everyone about that this week. Finally got the pods for my coffee maker. Illy, I love you. You guys are doing something really spectacular over there. Hopefully one day you'll sponsor the podcast. We'll do an episode about why coffee is so important and why it's so consistent and why we need it. Why we really do need coffee. Because coffee is one of the most underrated things in the world. It is always there for us when we need it. And Illy is the best coffee on the planet. I stand by that. Stand by it 100% of the way. Very good coffee. I bought my coffee maker when I was out in Italy many years back from Italy, an actual store in Italy. And I've been hooked like a junkie, man. Every day I got to get my fix. And it only pours you about this much coffee into a full coffee cup. That's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need a mountain of coffee to get you going. You just need the right coffee. Shop Illy now. One day. A dreamer can dream. You got to have big dreams. You got to dream big. Got to have big aspirations. Doesn't matter where you're going or where you're coming from. Fox News calling this Fyre Fest a ticking time bomb. Which I agree. I do agree. But no coincidence when you look at who the hosts were for that night of the Fox News. Well played, Brett. Well played. I bet Brett's getting some tickets to Fyre Fest. Maybe him and Zelensky will go on down there and talk about their new minerals deal that's just not panning out. I mean, they've already got the attire down. Why not go for it? Serendipity. Netflix just released a bunch of Gene Hackman movies. And I'm no conspiracy theorist, but do you really think we landed on the moon? I mean, really? Do you really believe that happened? Like, Titanic was filmed in a pool. And before Billy McFarland planned on going to Mexico, C-Notes were the main tourist attraction. I even asked AI to create an upcoming scene for the Fyre Fest, and this is what it gave me. Yep. Critics will say this is from the Gaza Strip, but that's simply not true. It's not true. Fake news. Colleagues and actors like Bill Murray really sympathize with Gene Hackman's story and his late passing. I love Bill Murray. I mean, who fucking doesn't love Bill Murray? Bill Murray is the man with the plan. I feel like he's been around for like 200 years. He just never gets older. It's like Steve Martin. I just found out Steve Martin's actually 79 years old, which absolutely blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, man. How long ago did Cheaper by the Dozen come out? You know, like, very strange. Oh, I had a burp. Bill Murray calling his colleague Gene Hackman brilliant, but he was sort of a nutso and impossible. Impossible is quite a word to use for somebody, especially after they've passed. Not too much of a nut that the Mexican cartels couldn't crack, though. Sorry. What I meant to say was Netflix, banking, and royalties. I see you, Netflix. Good for you. It's been a crazy week, and there's no amount of words that we could put into any one episode to really describe how the week has gone and where it will take us. But I do hope that you subscribe to the channel and enjoy these episodes as much as I do. A lot of thought goes into these episodes. A lot of writing, a lot of testing, and a lot of, well, me running my mouth. God knows one day it's going to get me in a tremendous amount of trouble if those motions are not already in motion. I think it's important we keep the gears turning. With the big week ahead, you should be feeling great. It's going to be a glorious day, a glorious week, and a glorious month. But only if you've got your mind right. Like Mr. Noodle from Elmo. He always got our mind right. Or Mr. Rogers. He always got our mind right. Seek out the people that make you feel good this week. And sometimes seek out the people that are going to challenge you. Respectfully. Nobody needs a yes person in their life. They need somebody who's going to meet you on your level and stick it to you when you need it and, well, love you when you need it. There's going to be all sorts of different shit that we need in life, but you need to know that you have the right people in your circle. And that goes a long, long, long way. I can tell you from experience, having the wrong people in your circle, well, I mean, Gene probably could tell you a thing or two about that too. Have the best week of your life. Subscribe to the podcast. We're going to be doing all sorts of silly shit coming up. And I love you guys, man. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being part of the episode. And make sure you watch it, share it, bump it, twist it, whatever you got to do to get your vibe right for the day. And yeah, enjoy.
Right foot, 2 stumps.
That's a rippy rap. Thank you very much.
Slide to the left.